Okay, we're going to just start off by I'm going to create a cyclone, well, at the top part of a cyclone. So here I am creating the inner wall. I'm going to make it 36 inches. I'm going to call it the inner cyclone. I'm giving it a parameter so that I can come back later and scale it up or scale it down and try to link other stuff off of it, and hopefully the goal is to have everything readjust with whatever I do there. Here's the outer wall. Again, I'm going to make it 60 inches, but I want to give it some proportionality to the inner wall, so I'm going to make it times 5 divided by 3, 60 inches. This is going to be kind of like my inlet here. I'm going to make it 12 inches, but give it a parameter there. So it's based off the inner cyclone. Make it 1/3 of that. Here I'm predicting, I already know I'm going to want to wrap around the outside and kind of suck into it. So I'm going to create a separate axis for my inlet floor to kind of wrap around. I'm going to create a tunnel that goes around the outside of the cyclone. I want it to be 36 inches in radius, and so I just kind of put that in because I know I want that there. You can always go back and build something like that, but that's just something I already know I'm going to want. Creating some work plans. I already know I want the base to be 5 feet down. I want the inlet to be 12 inches down or a foot down, and I want the flare of the tunnel wall to go down 2 feet from the inlet. So 1 foot, 3 feet, 5 feet. Now I'm going to need to create my inlet box. So I'm going to kind of create a surface there, just to so I'm going to make a coil for my floor, but I need to know where that beginning of that coil is coming from. So I'm going to make a profile here off of that 12-inch drop. There's my profile. Shrink that bad boy back in where he should be. Here comes my tunnel floor. I'm going to use a coil. Now here's something I forgot. Well, I haven't realized I forgot it yet. First I'm going to choose my profile very carefully and then realize I forgot it. This is something that drives me nuts about Inventor, is you can't just... Sometimes it has a trouble deciding what you're trying to choose. Even though there's only one real line there, and the rest of it's just kind of a, just there for dimensioning. There's only one real sketch on that line, on there, I should say. Okay, now that I got my axis, I can finally make this coil. That time I didn't have as much trouble clicking it there. Okay, I know I want it to go around there. I want it to know... I know I already want it to be 2 feet in height and go around half of the cyclone. So, half revolution, 2 feet. Make sure it's going the right way. Looks good. Okay, then I'm going to want to create the outside wall. And that's going to be done with revolution. So, since I'm making everything as a surface first, I'm going to need to create a little line that is exactly, in this case I want the outside wall to be going around at 72 inches diameter, or 36 inches radius from that axis. You might be wondering why I decided to go with surfaces, or you might not be wondering that. I read in the manual that's kind of helped me to learn Inventor. Sometimes it's safest to go with the surface before, especially if you want something to be a sheet metal part later. Usually it prevents any... You can make sure that when you thicken a surface, it kind of... There's a less chance of failure in sheet metal mode. At least that's what the book said. So I'm kind of basing all this off of that understanding. Okay, I'm going to try to make that based off my inner cyclone dimension again. Okay, go around there, 180 degrees. Okay, we'll kind of get these out of the way. And really the point of this was to build a template so that I can quickly build all of my parts, all of my sheet metal parts off of this structure. Quickly know where everything's supposed to go. Now, I made a mistake, and here's where I'm realizing it. I forgot to make my inner cyclone and outer cyclone surfaces. I made their sketches, but I didn't quite make them their surfaces yet. So I came back in. Here we go. Now we're gonna make their surfaces right fast. Gonna extend that to bottom plane there. So I know that that's 5 feet long. Okay, just build my outer cyclone wall there. And now we're cooking with fire. Okay, turn off those planes. They're kind of not really useful anymore. And I'll rename my surfaces so that either me or someone else who comes in later knows what we're dealing with here, what kind of each thing links to and what it's meant for. Okay. Now I'll get to resave this as my template. It'll be much easier to come back in and build stuff off of this. Replace that there. Okay, now I can start building stuff off my template there. There it is. I'm gonna thicken it. That was the whole goal. Go in and make sketches. Surfaces I can thicken. This is something I don't like it so much about Inventor is if you click on something in the Explore window there and then say thicken, it kind of forgets that you clicked there. It says, alright, I know what you're talking about. Go ahead and thicken something. Okay, thought I was thickening that guy. Well, come back to my tunnel for later and modify him to look correctly. Same thing with the wall. I'm going to build the wall first and then come back in later and modify it. I could do it right now. I have all the surfaces I need to cut where I need to, but it's just a matter of preference as you go along, I guess. Inner wall there, inner cyclone wall. And kind of the goal too is I'm building all these as separate parts, separate solid bodies. Otherwise sheet metal doesn't like it so much. I tried to build it all as one big part and then export them, and no luck with sheet metal, so I had much better luck after I went in and made these all separate parts, and you can assemble them back in, especially if you kind of everything's already been built off each other anyways. You have all these surfaces that you're building it off of. It kind of really works well. So here I'm going to cut, using sculpting to cut, and I'm going to cut out. You see how it wraps around the outer cyclone wall there? It's kind of cutting into it. So we're going to want to cut off that little piece of the flooring there that's still on there. The arrow's facing the correct way for the cut. Not quite yet. There we go. And now, there we go. See, it cut off a little piece that was inside of my wall there. And when I remove some of these surfaces, you'll be able to see it better what's going on here. There you go. See, I got a nice little floor. Spirals down along with the wall. Looks good. Want to make the wall match that floor now. See, it's just one large piece. We want it to curve down nicely with that floor. So what we're going to do here is use those surfaces to cut it off, just like we did with the floor. Okay, make sure my arrow's going in the right direction there. Yeah, pointing down, good. There we go. And again, we'll kind of turn off some of this stuff here so you can see better what's going on. Okay, that wraps this one up. Thank you for your time.